The history of food. Corn was sacred to the Aztecs. They worshipped corn and had a corn god. If someone put corn on the ground, it was considered almost sacrilegious. If they saw the dry grains of maize scattered on the ground, they quickly gathered them up, saying, "Our sustenance suffereth, it lieth weeping. If we should not gather it up, it would accuse us before our Lord. It would say, O our Lord, this vassal picks me not up when I lay scattered upon the ground. Punish him, or perhaps we should starve." Imagine what the Aztecs would think now, watching the corn come off the elevator and pile onto the ground. They would probably stand there in shock and horror watching the precious corn kernels plummet. But before we can fully understand the corn we have come to know, we have to learn about the Columbian Exchange and the Fertile Crescent and their part in this. Farming and the domestication of plants and animals started in the Fertile Crescent. The people there were considered geographically lucky because they had good crops and animals. After the Little Ice Age, the people were forced to stay in one place because of a drought. They harvested wheat and kept the biggest kernels to replant. There was, in turn, more food, and when there's more food, there's always more people. Since there was more people, they had enough farmers so the others could experiment with things like trying to make limestone. This led to the making of steel and the Columbian Exchange, but we're getting a little ahead of ourselves. After the land got depleted, they moved their location longitudinally because, unlike the Americas, Europe was wide so the people could move across it with little or no climate change. After a while, with good human progression, people got bored with where they were, or like Columbus, wanted to find the Spice Islands. So they took off and explored. Columbus didn't find the Spice Islands, however. He did find the Americas and become the namesake of the Columbian Exchange. The Columbian Exchange is responsible for trading food and bringing it here to the New World. It also helped the progression of shipbuilding. Different parts of the world had different ships depending on the resources they had. It started out as a simple wooden or animal skin raft, then it progressed into a boat, and then into a ship. They would trade various things, most significantly wheat. I bet you're wondering what wheat has to do with this. Before wheat, there was hunting and gathering. They would get their food by hunting wild game and gathering edible plants and herbs. In the Omnivore's Dilemma, this was the last meal, called the hunter-gatherer meal. After the hunting and gathering, they started to domesticate wheat. Gender roles were prominent. The men would build houses, store grain, and farm, while the woman would make clothes and cook. The people then started domesticating cows, keeping them close and using them for milk, butter, skins, and meat. They also domesticated chickens, pigs, sheep, goats, and more. They used the chickens for meat and eggs, pigs for meat, and goats for butter, skins, and meat. All these animals ate grass, bringing the grass-fed meal from the Omnivore's Dilemma. It's much healthier to eat than the meat now. The grass-fed meal was made from local foods that do not have barcodes. The meat was fed grass and humanely slaughtered. Now to our day, which brings us back to corn. Cows, chickens, and other edible animals that are kept on a feedlot are fed corn. Feedlots are packed and not a good living space for the animals. They are kept in awful conditions and are often left standing in their own waste, as explained in the Omnivore's Dilemma. The animals are also injected with antibiotics all the time because they're getting sick from the lack of nutrition in their diet. As a result, we are becoming more resistant to these antibiotics that kill our diseases. Corn is in almost everything now, ranging from Coca-Cola to diapers. Almost everything you can eat can be traced back to a corn farm on the American Corn Belt. This isn't good for us, especially if we eat the meat that is fed corn. This brings us to the industrial meal. It is a processed meal usually eaten on the go. Some places you can get this food at are Wendy's, Burger King, and McDonald's. It is usually produced assembly line style with one person mastering one thing, like, let's say, putting pickles on the burger. Food for the healthy conscious but thrifty is industrial organic food, which is usually grown organically but sent to a processing plant. This is for people who want to feel like they've made a difference, but sometimes can't afford to go all the way organic. Organic food, or the organic meal as it's known in the Omnivore's Dilemma, is for the people who want to go all the way. They want the animals they're eating to be treated nicely, and they don't want any pesticides on their fruits and vegetables, and they want it to be local. It's becoming increasingly hard to find organic corn in stores. It's mostly from the Monsanto Seed Company. If it's not specifically labeled organic, then there's a good chance that that's where the corn is coming from. Monsanto was a producer of Agent Orange, so who knows what they put in your food. Do yourself a favor. Next time you go to the store, ask yourself, where did this food come from? And if I knew where it was from, would I really want to eat it? We are now truly a corn nation.
Another turning point, a fork stuck in the road. Time grabs you by the wrist, directs you where to go. So make the best of this test and don't ask why. It's not a question but a lesson learned in time. It's something unpredictable, but in the end is right.